Good afternoon and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. I hope you guys are well, and we're back with another video. So today we are going to be talking about a new perfume that's been, it's been rather well represented on Instagram, shall we say. You would have seen a lot of it if you are, an Instagram user. I'm not too sure there's that much on YouTube about it, but it's a perfume that's worth talking about, and it's certainly one that seems to be becoming a bit of a hype train at the moment. So does it deserve its ticket on the hype train would be the question, and well, I think it does. And here it is, and it's from Parfumeur, and it's called Iris Cartagena or Cartagena. I can never remember. I'm not sure. I think Iris Cartagena or Cartagena. There you go. Obviously this is an Iris-centric perfume, and I do like Iris. So the brand very kindly sent it to me. I've talked about it on Instagram a couple of times, but I thought as we've got the channel up and running, it will be a good opportunity for me to talk to you and let you know my thoughts on it. Before we start, obviously there's always going to be some negativity when sort of influencers or content creators or Instagrammers or whatever you call them get sent free bottles. It is what it is, unfortunately. I mean, I get sent quite a lot now. Not all do I talk about, to be honest. If I get a fragrance that I'm not that interested in, I don't really do a lot with it. I may put a photo of it on Instagram, and then it's soon, if I'm not interested in the perfume, if I'm not wearing it, if I don't love it, then I forget I've got it. And that's basically what happens to them. I don't like to do negative videos because I'm not a perfumer. If I'm going to slag a perfume off, it's got to be because I'm, personally don't like it, or, I think the perfume's awful. And if that's the case, I would rather just not make the video and just not talk about the perfume. It's as simple as that. I'm not a perfumer. I'm like you. I'm just a consumer. I've been around perfume a very long time. But does that qualify me to slate a perfume? Probably not. I can tell you if I dislike a perfume, or I can tell you if I like a perfume, and then describe the notes and try and break it down so you can understand a little bit more about what it smells like. That's kind of why I'm here. And the whole ethos of Questioning Sense is me and Rich talking about perfumes that we enjoy. So that's why, you're not going to get many negative reviews from us. Because also, I tend to, most of the perfumes that we talk about in Questioning Sense are perfumes that I've bought. And I'm not going to buy a perfume I don't like just to make a video. So anyway, that out the way, what do I think of this? Well, I think it's bloody great, actually. I really, really like it. Almost as much as my wife, who is absolutely obsessed with it. I think she's wearing it to work today. So it's a new release from Parfumeur. Now, they've quietly been going about the business of making good perfume for a very long time. They've got an awful lot of perfumes on the market, but they're a brand that just they don't seem to be a particularly mainstream brand. I think they're only in one shop I know of in London. And that's Bloom. And I bought 903 from there before the pandemic, a very long time ago. I have another one from the house, and I think they make really, really good perfumes, but I think they're missing one that's going to bring them into the mainstream, like a breakout perfume. And I think this is going to be it, because this is fabulous. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at the notes first of all, just so you get a feel for what the perfume's made up of, and then we can talk a little bit about it, because I do really rate it, but I do think it's quite similar to other perfumes, but not the same. And it's a clever fragrance. So if we look at the top, you have coca, you have rum, you have mandarin, and you have petitgrain, and then in the middle we have iris, obviously, which is the star. Then you have vanilla, and then you have some sandalwood, and on the base you've got papyrus. You have sugar cane, you have coffee, and you have vetiver. Sugar cane's an interesting one because I've never smelt it. I've seen it, I know what it looks like, but I've never seen it. I've never held it to sniff it. So I don't know what it really smells like. I can tell you now that there is sweetness in here, which I have to assume is coming from the sugar cane. Okay, so when you first spray it, and I'm going to have a little spray now. I mean, yeah, the atomizer is fantastic. The actual look of the bottle is brilliant. I love the gold top. It's very classy, and it's a big solid bottle, and the cap's lovely. It's quite light, but it's got everything on it on the top there. So it's, you know, it's an incredibly professionally put together perfume, as they all are from this house, to be fair. Retail, I think this is £160 for 100 ml. So we are in niche territory. It's not a cheapie at all, but it is a very goodie. So, right, we've just sprayed that on my wrist, and now we'll have a smell. So it's quite strange, because on the top you've got coke and you've got the rum and you've got mandarin and petit grain. The mandarin and the petit grain I really don't get anything of at all. There's a sweetness to it, but you know, I can't pick out anything citrusy, and I can't pick out anything particularly fresh. I can pick out something very heavy and earthy. And I think it's the booze, I think it's the rum and the coca together that's giving this real dark depth. So if you were to, say, get a glass and, you know, put some spiced rum in it and smell it straight, it's got that darkness, that depth to it, which is here. And it really is earthy, which is not at all what I was expecting. There's no sign of the iris at this point at all. It's almost smoky for some reason. I don't know where that's coming from either. But it's deep and it's dark, and it may be the coffee at the base that's jumping up and just sort of clouding the waters a bit and making it all thick. It is interesting rather than nice at this stage, to be honest. That first kind of moment, you're like, oh, wow. And then, you can just pick it up now. It only takes a short amount of time, and that iris and the vanilla and the sandalwood just sort of make a charge right to the top. And that's where this perfume absolutely comes alive. If you like sandalwood and you like iris, together they are fantastic. And then you've got the sweetness from this sugar cane accord, and you've got sweetness from vanilla to make this thing buttery and creamy and lovely, and all that kind of dark earthiness at the top just fades away gently. It just sort of drifts off. It's lovely. It's really, really good. Now, people are going to think instantly, they're going to see a sort of I don't know, a masculine iris, so they're going to think of Dior Homme. And then, I don't know, for me, no, it's in the same ballpark, but then you could say that about just about any kind of iris sort of heavy fragrance. Oh, it reminds me a bit of Dior Homme. I get it, but for me, there's a little tiny hint of it, but it's not like it. What this really reminds me of is Gris Chanel. But this is so much more interesting than Gris, and the performance is 10 times better than Gris Chanel. So if you love Gris, there's a good chance you're going to like this. And if you don't like Gris enough to buy it, try this, because I think you'll prefer it. But then, sorry, I'm waffling. We'll get back to the perfume, because these middle notes, this iris, vanilla, and sandalwood, they absolutely take over and completely run the show. The base is there, but it doesn't come in stages. You know, basically what happens is you've got this middle of the iris and the vanilla and the sandalwood, and they hold court for the rest of the time that you've got the perfume on your skin. The slight hint of coffee comes back, but I think I get that bizarrely for me more on the top than on the base. And then it just kind of sits there as a kind of a buttery sandalwood with some possible smoky facets to it. And I love this part of the perfume, and I'm so, so glad that it just stays like that the whole time. It's perfect. Beautifully, beautifully done, and incredibly wearable. As I said, my wife absolutely adores this one. She wears it more than I do, and she is besotted by it. Now, my wife's taste in perfume is either really, really floral or very, very sort of dark and spicy. But she doesn't like anything with oud in it. She doesn't like anything that I think would be classed as challenging. She likes very easy to wear perfumes, and this is incredibly easy to wear. Once that first couple of minutes are gone, it's just beautiful and smooth and dreamy and easy to wear. Really, really good. She wears it for work. I've worn it for work. But I think realistically, this is a good night out fragrance. This is something that you should be wearing out if you're going out to dinner, or if you're going out to the pub or something like that, or, you know, theatre, if anyone still goes to the theatre, that sort of thing. You know, it's an event perfume. It's beautifully done. It's very elegant. And consider it, and elegant's an interesting word to use with it, because when you consider all these materials used in this perfume are quite heavy. They're quite big, you know, it's no shrinking violet for sure. But altogether, it comes across as very, very elegant. It's an effortless perfume and really, really easy to wear, which I think is going to be one of the keys to its success going forward. You know, if you do get a chance to sample it or to smell it, please do, because I think you'll like it. If you like Iris, it's a really clever perfume. It's a great addition to my Iris collection. Now, I've got probably, I don't know, 15, maybe 12, 15, something like that, Iris-centric perfumes. And I love I love collecting them, but I'm really, really reticent to just blind buy anything with Iris in, because, you know, sometimes you end up getting fragrances that smell very similar, and I don't want my collection tripping over each other. So I'd like to sort of represent Iris and, you know, get a representation of Iris in all its different ways. And this is brilliant for that, because it smells like nothing that I own. You know, I have said that it reminds me of Gris, which I don't own. I do have Liam Gray, I think. There's a video of that, which is a clone of Gris, and that's as far down the Gris road I would like to go. But now I've got this, which is similar in the way that the sandalwood kicks in, does remind me a bit of Gris, but this is much more interesting. And I love that sort of evolution from the top notes to the middle, to the slight influence of the base, because it is, for me, it's all about the mid. But yeah, excellent perfume. I really, really like this. In terms of performance, it's noticeable for a very long time. So if I wear this to work and I come home from work, I can still smell it on me. So I know for a fact that when my wife comes home and she's out, you know, for a long, long day, I'll still smell it on her when she comes in. So yeah, performance-wise, it's excellent. It's not a room filler, but it's noticeable. You know, it's got a good sillage. People will smell it on you. And, you know, the projection's okay. In the beginning, it's pretty good, actually, and then it kind of drops off. But it's a bubble. You're in this like little foggy cloud all day. So, you know, it's a pleasant perfume to wear. And, the performance, I think, is excellent. It's really, really good. It's what it should be. You don't want it too strong, because it will be fogging out the place. And it is quite, you know, that elegantness is still quite heavy. So you don't want to overspray it. But I think it's brilliant. And if people are sort of slating it because it's been seen so much, then the fault's with them, not the perfume. The perfume's really, really good. Sometimes there is a bit of, you know, the green-eyed monster comes out, and I understand it. If you're collecting perfume, you're spending a lot of money on it, why should suddenly people get given bottles, or why should there be free bottles available to people? Well, that's just how it is. To send out a load of bottles to a load of influencers has got to be a lot cheaper than sort of, you know, Dior employing Johnny Depp to make Sauvage commercials. I mean, God knows how much that must cost, or how much airtime, you know, and all the rest of it. We've got Christmas coming, so, you know, perfume adverts are going to be on the television left, right and centre. That's an expensive way to get your product out there. It's probably a lot more cost beneficial to a business, especially a medium-sized one like Bon Parfumeur, to send some bottles out. So don't hate on them for that. They're just trying to sell their product. And believe me, if I didn't like it, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So my take on Iris Cartagena 502, it's bloody good. It's really, really nice. I love it. And I think you will too, especially if you like Iris and you like sandalwood. So there you have it. My take on this very popular hype train, which I think in this case is absolutely deserved. So there you go. Thank you very much for your time, and we will see you soon on the next video. So cheers, thanks, and bye.